What make a man brave a blizzard, kill in cold blood? I'm sure I don't know. You'd be surprised what a man would do. You're starting to see pictures, ain't you?
Yeah, almost everybody that I wrote for that I've worked with before, I wrote for them. You know, whether it be Bruce Dern, who I only worked with a little bit, but I got to know really well when we were doing Django, or Michael, or Tim, Walt, and Sam and Kurt. They were all written for them. I think part of the thing, one, it just seemed like the right thing to do. I wanted to work with a bunch of actors that I really liked to work with. It's a very dialogue-heavy film. These are actors that are all really good with dialogue, all right? And I knew I could actually be trapped in a room for 6 months with these guys, and it would all be fun.
Got room for one more?
I ain't too anxious to be handing out rides.
Real trusting fella, huh?
Not so much. Ain't no way I'm spending a couple of nights under a roof with somebody I don't know who they are.
That's a good question. I mean, what happened was, you know, it was really interesting. I had a little voice. I just had a little voice, and I've never had this little voice before. I mean, not as loud as the little voice was this time around. In my ear, telling me that this movie, something about this script in particular, because it wasn't a movie then, it was still a script. This script in particular should have its own soundtrack, should have its own theme, should have its own score as opposed to a secondhand score. And I've never considered my use of music from other people's movies on my movies as secondhand before. I've never considered it secondary. You know, hey, whoever uses it best gets it. You know, I'm cool with it. I'm paying for it. You know, it's all good. They don't have to sell it to me. You know, so that's how I always, you know, that's how I've always felt about it. But this one had that kind of little voice in my ear. And then I got together with Ennio, the maestro, at his house with his wife, and we were talking. And he asked kind of a similar question to me. He goes, well, you know, this is not really what you do using original scores. You take pieces of music from other scores and you put them together, and you do a pretty good job with that, and everyone seems to like it, so why change? And I told him, well, frankly, I'm not even 100% sure that I want to change, and I really only consider it with you. And if you say no, then I'll probably do this one the way I've always have before. But then I told him the story of the little voice, and he understood that.
So who are you? Okay, everybody, hear this. I'm taking this woman to hang. Reward's $10,000. That money's mine, boys.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It didn't really offer me that many challenges. Most of the challenges came to the camera crew. And frankly, the challenges were compounded by the big lenses, not so much the camera. The camera was pretty much the camera, you know. Compounded by the big lenses and then the frigid cold that we were shooting in. That offered big challenges. I mean, one of the biggest challenges for me as a director, I mean, the size of the frame, I mean, that's why I wanted it. And also it's like, you know, and I don't really think in terms like that because, you know, I frame my own shots up. So whatever the frame is, I'll frame it up for that. You know, if it's 276, then I'm framing up for 276. If it's a 133 window box, then I'm framing for that, all right? And then it's all evocative. It is what it is. But one of the big challenges that this offered me was the fact that we weren't able to get a zoom lens in order to pull off our shots. And in the last 5 movies, I've gotten very, very used to using a zoom lens, maybe a little too used to it. So there was actually something kind of good to not have that as a crutch to rely on. So basically, we used a crane as if it were a zoom.
You think I'm in cahoots with that fella or her?
That's my problem, boy. I don't know. One of them fellas, they'll kill everybody in here. Now we're talking.
Let's slow it down. Let's slow it way down.
Like, I've touched on horror. I touched on horror in Death Proof. It's more about deconstructionist horror, all right? And I actually think, frankly, to tell you the truth, when it comes to horror, Hateful Eight is about as close as I've actually come, you know? I mean, there is a real horror movie dread, I think, that hangs in the movie, which is probably about as close as I'm ever going to come to that type of dread, you know, that you get maybe in The Exorcist or something. I don't really think straight-on horror, as much as I love it, that I'm right for it. I think it would make me, I wouldn't want to do one of the comedy horror films, and I think that would be my tendency at a certain point. But also at the same time, I think sitting on my sense of humor would be cutting off one of the better parts of myself.
Right. Yeah.
So that might be half-speed Quentin to some degree or another. You know, I look at The Exorcist and I would really love to be able to do that, but I don't think I'm the right person to do it. I think there's other people who can kind of pick that one tone of dread and play it, string it out all the way through. When it comes to genres, there's other genres I could see doing. Like a 30s gangster kind of thing, like I just mentioned, all right, is something I could see doing with Tommy guns and stuff. I could see that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that could be really cool. I could see that. I do like the idea of maybe doing a moonshining movie someday. I think that's a very interesting subgenre, and I kind of lived through that a little bit for a period of time when I was in Tennessee when I was a kid. So I know a teeny tiny bit about it. But as far as, I really don't see me doing science fiction, to tell you the truth. I think I've done a lot of the genres that I really, really had a burning desire to do.
You know when you get to hell, tell them Daisy sent you.
You gon' die now?
No one said this job's supposed to be easy.
Nobody said it's supposed to be that hard, neither.